Go for the midnight dares. Go for the game. Go for the hits. Go for the fans. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
Hey, everybody, I told you we'd be back, and I kept my promise once again. This is the JAKIB Media YouTube channel. This is Draft Takes. It is presented by IBEW Local 98. Mark Lynch, your business manager. I'm Derek Gunn. And, of course, Howie Roseman, being Howie Roseman, he can't stand still. He's got to fidget with things. The Eagles went into round number 6 with picks number 188 and 198. But, oh, no, Howie somehow, some way makes a move. And he moves up to 181 in the 6th round. And with that pick, he takes linebacker Kyron Johnson out of Kansas, a smaller linebacker, 6 foot, about 235 pounds. So to discuss that particular pick and also the Eagles draft overall, I brought in a good friend and colleague. For many years, he was a football guy for the Philadelphia Inquirer. Right now, he's writing occasionally for NJ.com. Les Bowen, how you doing, my man?
Great, DG. How are you?
Good, man. Hey, all right. So how much or how little do you know about this Kyron Johnson out of Kansas? 6 foot, 235. All I know is that he was a 3-year starter at Kansas.
Yeah. Well, a quick Google search revealed that, he's apparently got a good many sacks at Kansas, but he's not going to be a pass rusher. He's going to have to be it's at that size. He's going to have to be a Sam linebacker in a 4-3.
Yeah.
He didn't win a whole lot of games at Kansas, but he did start a lot of them. He's rated, I think, by the NFL as the NFL.com site is like a 5th round type guy. They got him in the 6th.
Right.
A backup type linebacker who plays special teams, and that's kind of what you're looking for at this point in the draft. The fact that they traded up to take him makes me think that they have they expect him to make the team, I guess. Other than that, I don't know a whole lot. I am very glad that Howie made this. I think I speak for everyone here in the media house at NovaCare.
Yeah.
Howie got rid of his only 7th round pick, Derek.
Yeah.
And we've been here for 3 days.
Yeah.
And now there's no 7th round pick. And if he adds a 7th round pick, I might jump out the window. I don't know. But right now, we're done with this after the 6th round. One more pick, and that sounds pretty good.
It's funny. We criticized and chastised this Eagles organization for years for neglecting the linebacking position, and I think Howie has hurt us. I mean, he goes out and gets, Hassan Riddick, who can put his hand in the dirt, can also stand up as well. Kazir White he brought in as well. He's drafted Nakobe Dean. Now he's drafted another linebacker in Kyron Johnson. I think we can no longer make fun of the deficiency at the backer position.
Yeah, we're going to have to move on to corner or maybe safety. The Eagles, we've had the Jerry Robinson clock for many years. Jerry Robinson being the last linebacker the Eagles took in the 1st round in 1979. Well, we can start the Lito Shepherd clock now. It's been 20 years and counting since the Eagles took a corner in the 1st round. Everybody thinks corner is, a premier position. Usually you get your Pro Bowl type guys in the 1st or 2nd round. There's some exceptions, like
Sure.
Richard Sherman, but by and large, you use high draft picks on those guys. The Eagles, last time they used a 2nd on a corner was Sidney Jones 5 years ago, and there's nobody. They have a bunch of guys they say they like on their roster. They drafted a 4th round corner last year, Zach McPherson.
Yeah,
they like him. I don't know. We'll see. I would think, last year they did a good job of finding Steven Nelson for 1 year deal in free agency. Maybe there's somebody like that again out there. Obviously, fans at the safety position, fans are all over the possibility of Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger. I don't know if that's going to happen. It seems pretty logical at this point. They really do have 2 gaping holes there in starting positions in their secondary. And, the guy they draft with this last pick of the 6th round isn't going to fill them.
Hey, when you look at the defense overall, though, I know they still have a glaring deficiency at the safety and the cornerback position. But when you look at how the complexion of the defense has changed in the front seven, do you like what you're finally seeing with this defense?
Yeah, they have definitely made some improvements. I mean, you add in Jordan Davis. I mean, you've got Fletcher Cox's replacement. You've got a guy who can certainly play, a lot of snaps this year right off the bat. He's not going to need, a lot of scheme type work to do what he does. You mentioned Kazir White,
Sure.
Hassan Reddick. There's been, it ought to be a better defense. It really should, if they can get those two starting positions nailed down with somebody who's not like a practice squad type player. I think we'll see a little more this year of what Jonathan Gannon really wants to do with the defense.
Right.
We weren't really sure what we were watching last year. We saw a lot of different stuff, and a lot of it wasn't very impressive. A lot of it was very vanilla, but he was playing with Jim Schwartz's players, and now that he maybe has more of the kind of guys he wants, maybe we'll see something different. We can hope anyway.
That was my next question to you. With a Jonathan Gannon, what can we really expect now? Was that his philosophy from 2021, or because he was so-called handcuffed by inheriting players more so than being able to have some input in terms of what type of players he liked at the D tackle, the outside edge, things like that? Well, now is he all of a sudden going to change that philosophy moving ahead in 2022?
Yeah, I wish I knew. I mean, it's not like he has ever been a coordinator anywhere else, and you can say, well, when he was in charge of the defense here, they did X. He's run secondaries before, but he's never run a whole defense. So, and he hasn't really been forthcoming about stuff like that. So, and we don't get a chance to talk to him like during this. It would be wonderful if they brought Jonathan Gannon up there to talk about his defense. But, that's at least a few weeks off probably. I'm real interested to see. I really am. Because it got better last year when he started listening to some of his veteran players about what they did best. But, we still don't know what he wants to do.
Are you as shocked as all of us that a kid like Nakobe Dean drops all the way to the third round? And then you hear all the stories about the misinformation out there with the pec injury. And he says he was never told by anybody he needed surgery and things like that. I mean, we know football can be a dirty business and teams try to get players to drop. But, I mean, that rumor cost this young man millions of dollars.
Yeah, and we don't know yet, whether this is totally something that blew up out of nothing or if he really does need surgery. The Eagles are emphatic that he doesn't need surgery. They say doctors have checked frontwards, backwards, sideways. You see these things in the draft, but usually it's not this much of a mystery. Usually there's it's one or the other. It's either teams looked into it and weren't worried about it, and the teams that had the updated information were satisfied, or a guy just like, you remember Chris Polk, the running back they had many years ago. He fell totally out of the draft because he had a shoulder that doctors told teams, he's not going to play very long. And he didn't, and he knew that. And same thing with Jay Ajayi and his knee. He came out of college with a knee that already had arthritis in it. And doctors said, he'll be a good player, but maybe until about he's 25 or so, and that was the way it went for Jay Ajayi. And we could be seeing something like that here. I don't know that. Yeah. But Nakobe Dean did have shoulder surgery last year. He's a kind of a small linebacker who plays a very aggressive, hard-hitting style. And maybe it's just the sum of all the, the intrigue and the surgery last year. Maybe teams are just looking at him and saying, he's, for first, second round, you want a guy who's going to be a starter for years. And we don't know that he's going to hold up. Teams hate to pay money for guys that aren't playing. That's one thing I've learned covering this. They really take that kind of stuff very, very seriously. The guy who's a great player when he's healthy and isn't ever healthy is worth nothing, Yeah. So I guess that's what we're talking about. I hope, obviously I hope Nakobe Dean is, plays 15 years in the NFL and is a Hall of Famer. But it's very interesting that this happened, and I think that we probably haven't heard the last of it.
Hey, let's stand by. This sixth round is moving by fast and furious. They're already through pick number 186. Of course, the Eagles have another pick. I believe at 198 it is. Yes, they're staying at 198 as we know it right now. We're going to come back to you in a few moments after the Eagles pick at 198 and get your perspective real quick on that one, as well as I want to ask you a few more about questions about the Eagles draft. So I appreciate you being a part of our coverage here on JAKIB Media channel. And I'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Okay, DG. Take care.
All right. We're going to come back in a short while from now. Once again, this is Draft Takes on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel. It is presented by IBEW Local 98. Mark Lynch is your business manager. Continue to smash that like button, and more importantly, continue to subscribing to the JAKIB Media channel. I'm Derek Gunn. We'll be right back shortly after the Eagles pick at 198.
In Philadelphia, we celebrated the miracle with pride only 5 years ago. And then the following morning, IBEW Local 98 members went back to work, building this city, rescuing our communities from decay, and inspiring the young men and women of the region to take pride in who we are. Like the Cats, Local 98 members believe in hope.
To learn more about who we are, what we do, and career opportunities with Local 98, visit us, IBEW98.org.